I want to talk this week about what is advertising for this week's lecture. So advertising comes from the Latin, which is word which means to turn towards. So the idea is when you advertise things, you want to turn people towards your idea, your product, your service, your belief. So that's what that means. So advertising is a form of mass persuasion. It is a means to sell or promote a product, event, service, issue of community concern, things like politics. So it is the form of mass persuasion, to persuade many. So the idea, advertising has to do this. It has to grab the attention of a targeted audience. So think about these things as I'm saying them. Who is the target audience? Could it be someone 20 years old? Could it be 30, 40, 50? You want to grab their attention and you want to target to them. You want to keep their attention long enough to influence their purchasing behavior. So you want to make sure that they want to only buy what you have. So keep it long enough. How are you going to do that? Move an audience to purchase and then make them brand loyal, which is to purchase only their brand. So maybe you only get Goodyear tires and you only go to a certain place to have them put on. Or maybe you only drink Starbucks coffee and you're only going to have that. They want to make you loyal, so you're only buying theirs. And the idea in advertising is to differentiate the product from others. So there's a reason why. Why would you want Starbucks coffee over another brand, another place, when maybe someplace else like you could get Dunkin' Donuts and it's cheaper, but maybe you're saying it's better. And but sometimes what we're going to be looking at is how are they persuading you? How are they doing it? How are they influencing you and differentiating? We're going to look at that throughout the course. So the power of persuasion, what are they selling and how are they selling it? So I'm going to show you, during this presentation here, I'm going to show you some short videos. And I really want you to think about, who is the audience here? How are they grabbing your attention? And how are they making your brand loyal? And how are they making themselves different? How are they differentiating? All that stuff. So let's watch a couple of them. And then I'll say a few things. And I'd like you to respond with a few answers back in the discussion board.
Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing. Don't stop doing it, baby. Don't stop doing it, baby. Don't stop doing it, baby. Do your thing.
So what are they selling here? This is the iPhone 10, and we have a new one now already. What are they selling here? They're selling a camera. They're not selling it as a phone. It's selling it as a professional camera, all the things you can do. Look at the people that they're showing in the video. Who's represented there? What age? What gender? What race? Take a look at who it is. Think about who the target audience is and who's interested in using their camera as a phone. Who would that be? So they show you the camera, the phone, but very briefly. It's really more about the lifestyle. You have a studio, you don't need all the lights, you just need to do these small little adjustments. And who's the target right here? Who is this young person? Same thing here, lots of different people. Take a look at all the people they're putting in. And realize that there's also a slogan going on, do your thing, do your thing. So that's one of them I wanted to show you. There's another one on here, but I'm going to just go through the different slides here and show you some different videos. You're welcome to look at the other ones that I haven't listed in here. So now let's talk a minute about slogans. You should be seeing some of this in your reading, and we're going to be looking at slogans throughout the course, and actually going to be writing some and using them for your own presentations or your own advertising that you're going to be working on in the class. So let's think about it. The idea with the slogan is you see these short words and you recognize, you tie them to the product. So let's think, which one is delicious and refreshing? Which one is taste the feeling? And which one do you think is do the do? One of them gives it away a little more, but I want you to think about that. Which one is which? Okay, so here we are. We're going to match the slogan to the soft drink. All right, so here you have delicious, refreshing for Pepsi, taste the feeling for Coca-Cola, and do the do for Mountain Dew. Let's take a look at how they're marketing and using the slogan. Think about the slogan throughout here when you watch these commercials. So with this Pepsi commercial, you saw the slogan 3 times, and the only sound you heard was the sound of the Pepsi itself, which is supposed to entice you to want to drink to think about cool, refreshing, delicious, refreshing Pepsi. Same thing here. You know, they put that real strong close up in there, making you think, boy, I'd like to have a Pepsi right now. And let's think about it. Now, what's going to differentiate Pepsi from Coca-Cola? Okay, so you got that right here. Here's that slogan 3 times through. Let's take a look at the Coca-Cola one. And I want you to think about the slogan here, but look at what they're selling you here. Look at what they're selling you on. You know, it is a drink, so it's Coca-Cola. They can tell you what it's made of. It could be made of, you know, all kinds of corn syrup, all kinds of things in there. But that's not really going to entice you to buy it. So how are they selling you here and using the taste the feeling? So let's think about it here. Who is the audience? You're seeing the audience. Take down the sound just a little bit. You'll see the people that they're marketing to. It looks like young people. You're going out skiing, out partying, out with your lover. All these different things. It looks like an age group they're trying to reach there, and they're saying taste the feeling. What is the feeling? They're giving you it's a feeling that's lively. It's all about life. And it's all about you. So that's how they're selling it to you, and they're using the whole slogan. Taste the feeling. So you go with the slogan, you go with the music, and it entices you to buy. That's their point. Let's do the last one here, Mountain Dew. Let's see how they're going to try to get you to buy their product, become brand loyal. Again, I want you to think about audience. How are they persuading you? How are they differentiating themselves from others? So think about that when you're watching this. So pretty interesting. When you think about this spot here, first of all, what I want to say is traditional media formats, media platforms such as television, they only will allow you like 30 seconds, 60 seconds for commercial time. They generally you purchase that. The web has allowed longer time. This was 2 minutes and 47 seconds. So this was a whole story. If you look at this whole piece, and if we were to take it apart, which we will be doing later in the class, taking the media apart, you could see how this story was built. And what does it really have to do with Mountain Dew when you look at it? But the whole time you're seeing this story unfolding of this young person going, and he's adventurous. He's going to go ski. He's going to go where it's cold. And you know what? The whole time that water is reminding you of refreshing. Why that? Why are they putting water in there? It's this very refreshing thought. But this whole thing is a story, and it leads to the end about Mountain Dew. They're trying to sell you a concept, an idea that this is what life is like, and you're an adventurous person. You must drink this, and so that's what it's all about. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on something like this. I have all kinds of thoughts on what I'm seeing here. As a media producer, I know how much work this would take to create, but I think it's pretty interesting that they could go as far as to make something this long to tell you a story, to buy their product, and differentiate themselves. Oh, don't attempt that. Okay, let's go on to the next. So now we talk about slogans, and also a little bit about, you'll start seeing logos and icons. So the slogan, the idea is to connect the audience to the product. Like with Nike, they always said, just do it. And you know, if you just, after a while with Nike, you don't even have to see the name Nike. You can see the slash and just do it. The whole idea was, you have these Nike products now and you can do it. So they just made a small little slogan, 3 words. It's very rarely more than just a couple of words because that sticks in your mind. So they tend to repeat it. So you can repeat it in a commercial, or you'll see many things like "just do it" with Nike was a very long time slogan for them, very, very long time. And if it's working, sometimes they don't change it. If it's gonna be remembered, there's no reason to change it. And a lot of times you'll hear it in the music within the commercials, and then reinforced in the text, like you're seeing right here. And there's this sriracha, always worth the pain. Again, there's only 4 words there to get you to remember them. So now we're going to talk a little bit about brand icons. Generally, what you want people to do is when they see the icon, it brings you to the image. It tells you the story of the image. So a couple of them you can give away here, who is who, or the Geico and Ronald McDonald, Tony the Tiger, and the Progressive salesperson. Let's take a look at a couple of them. Go back here just for a minute. So I want you to think, when you see these, you should think about, what are they? And Tony the Tiger always had, that's great. You know, there was always a small little slogan that went along with them. And they're trying to make you recognize their brand by just seeing that one icon. Let's take a look at this. Now, the reason I'm bringing this commercial up with Progressive, I want you to notice how they use, a lot of times what happens in commercials, they are mirroring life. So here they're doing something that's kind of based on what's happening with the global pandemic. And it's comical. And I want you to take a look at it here, of how they made a commercial, something different that you probably all are recognizing now because of the errors in using everything online.
Alright, so
I'll start.
Oh,
do you want to go first?
no, I don't. You go.
I was just thinking on slide 7, talking about bundling and saving.
Jamie, you're cutting out.
Hey, whoever's doing that, can you go on mute?
Oh, my bad. I was just saying there's a typo on slide 7. Bundle home and auto for big disco snouts.
I think that's supposed to say discounts.
You sure about that?
Hey, can you guys see me?
So what they did in this commercial, and with many other things, as we'll look throughout the class, is they really using mirroring the times. And you all know that right now everybody's been on a lot of, we would say, Zoom calls. That's going to be a word people are going to recognize, and all the errors that happen. So they did something very comical, keeping themselves in the spotlight and connecting with the people who their audience is now. Okay. And let's take a look at now how McDonald's used the slogan and music recognition in their commercial. Sorry, it takes me a minute here to get things set up because of being recording it online. So take a look. This is very short, 15 seconds. Think how you can recognize McDonald's here.
If you're ordering McDonald's and your friend says they don't want fries, get them the fries. Or else your fries will be their fries. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum.
So right there at the end, bottom up, bum, bum, I'm loving it. There's the logo. There's the little music that a lot of times the music is what you remember. And also they use a lot of close-ups in here to entice you to buy the product. And you see their logo right there.
They don't want fries.
Right here, you're seeing their logo. They're making sure you see that at the same time, so you know it's McDonald's throughout the 15 seconds. You recognize their color, their music, and then their slogan at the end. So I'm hoping. Okay. So what I'm thinking about here, as I show you these things, is I'd like to, by the end of the class, for you to really look at commercials and advertisements and other ways that advertising is trying to persuade you. Marketing companies are trying to use advertising to persuade you. So you always think of what's really behind it. Right now, we're just it's a little light, but I want to show you how they really try to persuade you. And hopefully at the end, you'll start thinking about, when it comes to things that are of community concern or politics, you'll start to look at what are they saying and what's behind it. What is the truth behind it? For example, I'm going to show you these cigarette ones. These are older commercials, and it was talking about the times, how they're getting people to smoke cigarettes and things. They were showing a lifestyle, but it wasn't good for you. They weren't saying you're going to get cancer and things like that, or what could happen. So when they sell you this lifestyle, what's really happening behind it? So let's take a look at. I'm just going to do very short of these ones. So Marlboro, you'll see in some of your reading that originally they said it was women who did the smoking, but they wanted to do something to get men more involved. So they put out a lifestyle, and at the time, when this was made, cowboys were still quite a big thing, even on television and movies and things. So they were selling it as a lifestyle for a man. So you're hearing the Marlboro music that everybody came to recognize at the time. And the idea is that you're out in the open, you're a real man, you're going to smoke. Marlboro Country. There's your slogan. And I would say this influenced a lot of young men to smoke cigarettes. So it's freedom, it's youth, he's strong, he's a smoker, he's a real man. I'm going to show you that one. And now I want to show you the juxtapose they did for women in the early 70s and Virginia Slims. So they tried to link it to women's rights. Now at that time, feminism was quite big, everything was going on, it was all happening. So they wanted to influence the women to become smokers by giving them their own cigarette. So let's take a look at this one. So again, think of audience. How are they persuading you? What are they using? And how are they differentiating themselves? Okay, I'm struggling. Forgive me.
In 1910, Mrs. Pamela Benjamin was caught.
So look at the story here they're talking about. They're tying it to women's rights.
In 1910, Mrs. Pamela Benjamin was caught smoking in the gazebo. She got a severe scolding and no supper that night. In 1915, Mrs. Cynthia Robinson was caught smoking in the cellar behind the preserves. Although she was 34, her husband sent her straight to her room. Then, in 1920, women won their rights. You've come a long way, baby.
Introducing new Virginia Slims. The Slim cigarette for women only, tailored for the feminine hand. Slimmer than the fat cigarettes men smoke, with flavor women like. Rich, mild Virginia flavor. New Virginia Slims in the slim first pack.
You've come a long way, baby. To get where you got to today. You've got your own cigarette now, baby. You've come a long way.
So Virginia Slims used that song. Everybody recognized "You Come a Long, Long Way" as their music. So that's what they used to entice you, to get you to recognize and buy their product, along with the images and, like I said, talking about women's rights, which was very important at the time, which could be very important now, but it was at that time very important. They look at what's happening. Marketing and advertisers look at what's happening in society and use what they can based on what's going on to sell their product. So let's just talk a little bit about logo and trademark. Now, you've seen this already in one of the other lectures, but again, can you name the product from the logo? I mean, when you see it, you immediately know the company that it is. And why do you think they selected these? Why did Apple go with an apple? Why was it the name? I did know some students would look up, and the first thing they look on Google, they find the wrong answer there. So if you want to be interested in, we'll do some of this research later on, you really have to do a little searching out beyond the first page that tells you why they chose these logos. What does it mean? What was it all about? And how do you remember it? And how do they make it recognizable to you? So now here's some of the trademarks. Now the thing is here, these are the trademarks, such as Google, and what you could add here. And now we can add the word Zoom. What are they really? Kleenex. What is Kleenex? It's a tissue. People used to say, "I need a Kleenex." They were saying the name of the product, of the trademark name. Same thing with Xerox. Instead of saying, "I need a copy," I need a Xerox. Instead of saying cellophane, they'd say Saran wrap. So the advertisers did so well that you started saying their name when you did something. For example, everybody's talking now about Zoom meetings. It's a virtual recorded meeting is what it is, but because everyone started to use that product so much, they're now using the word. The same thing with Google. We're going to Google it. So they made their name they made their trademark on your lips to make you remember that. That's really good marketing and really good advertising. So that's the lecture for this week, and we'll be on to the next. Thank you for listening.